Landlord tenant issues. This is one that can get very emotional for people because a lot of times when they are looking to hire someone, especially as a tenant where they're renting a place to live, it's usually to the point where their life has been really radically turned upside down by something that happened. So they're very emotional and upset and want to do something about it. So when it comes to what is landlord tenant is basically any type of rental agreement. Technically, it could be a commercial office lease where you're a tenant, but usually it comes down to some type of residence. You're renting an apartment, you're renting a house, and the landlord is the one who owns the property and they're renting it to you. So issues come up with, okay, um, they're trying to increase my rent when that's not in my rental agreement, or they're not fixing things the way they're supposed to, letting the property go into disrepair. The electricity keeps going out and I can't keep the place warm, or just all kinds of number of issues that come up. Those are landlord tenant issues. So this issue, basically, if you're looking for this type of an attorney, you would look up a landlord tenant attorney and you look it up by your location, typically by county that you're located in, because if you do have to go to court, it would be in the county where you're located, where you're residing. Now, if you're a landlord, and you need to evict someone, the eviction process in most counties or cities, depending on how they do it, can be a little complex. Sometimes it's very basic forms that you find online on their website. And okay, you look at the county superior court or whatever type of court it is, and they say, okay, here's the eviction forms, unlawful detainer, it's sometimes called. So unlawful detainer or eviction. And you may be able to find all the forms to start that type of case. And all you have to do is go in for a hearing, explain to the judge they're not paying rent, here's proof, and get a judgment or court order to evict them. It could be that simple. Most of the time, landlords will hire someone because they don't want to have to be bothered with going through that process and going to court, spending time doing that. It's some will do it on a flat fee. Usually, it's hourly, $250 to $500 an hour for their time to file the case, go into court, whatever hearings are usually on an expedited basis, and potentially get an eviction for that person. And if you're in a tenant being evicted, it might be worth spending the money to at least have a consultation with a landlord tenant attorney. Because if someone's trying to evict you and you're not paying rent or something, probably not much you can do. But in some cases, there could be some kind of protection. Like during COVID, there were certain eviction moratoriums under federal, state, local law that say you can't evict someone right now. And so an attorney might be able to tell you, yes, you have the right to defend this, and I can help you in court, and it might be worthwhile paying that person. Or there are also sometimes pro bono free legal services that you can find for certain types of eviction defense is what it's called, or landlord tenant. So in those cases, it might be worth hiring someone because you really do have the lawful right to stay there. Otherwise, if you're not paying rent, or you're doing something wrong on the property and it's pretty clear, you might just be wasting money. You might be able to stall a little bit, but that's about all you'd be doing, is just stalling by if an attorney basically comes in and says, here's some of the things we can do to defend you. It's usually just giving you a little extra time or negotiating time for you to leave the premises. And that might be, cash for keys is sometimes called, where the landlord says, okay, instead of spending the money, taking you to court to evict you, I'll give you some money so you can move and just leave. I'm not going to charge you any more rent. I'm not going to come after you, just so they can get the property back. Now, in terms of other landlord tenant issues, okay, you're a tenant and, the water keeps going out. The property's in bad repair. They're not fixing things the way they're supposed to. That also is a landlord tenant attorney issue. You may have to pay out of pocket for hourly for that type, because if you think about it from the attorney's point of view, how is he going to get paid? Unless your city, state, or local law says that you can recover your attorney's fees if you win, or the lease says the prevailing party, meaning whoever wins will get their attorney's fees back, you're just going to be spending money that you may, it's going to be frustrating spending money to an attorney if you don't get immediate results. And a lot of times when you go to court, it does take a lot of time and you don't always get the results you expect. So I always caution people, don't start spending a lot of money out of pocket hiring an attorney for this. You may have to just, try to work with the property management company or landlord to work it out, give it a little time. And research your state and local laws where you're located, because there could be something that says, hey, we have a fund set up that pays attorneys to help tenants in these situations. Or, there could be any number of ways to help you, or even free organizations that will help you. If you choose to talk to an attorney, you can at least get maybe a free consultation with a landlord tenant attorney. They'll be able to tell you, hey, I'm not going to do this for free, and there's no other way I can get paid. So I'm going to have to charge you $1,000 to go in and represent you and go after the landlord. If there's maybe a class action where there's 100 tenants of a very large property, that might be a case where an attorney says, hey, under a class action lawsuit, I can recover attorney's fees or something. So at least talk to an attorney, get a free consultation, and do your research. But again, if it's some kind of issue with the property, a lot of times you're going to be spending money out of pocket that I would suggest, seriously considering, because you may not get that money back unless there's a specific law or contract says that you can get it back.